Welcome to a spooky campfire story. This one is compiled by Amy Kelly Hoytsma. This is the second edition of this book. And apparently you guys were looking at the house. So we have Knock Knock, Who's There by J.J. Renew. Or Renault, or however you guys want to say that. I'm not French, I don't know. So here we go. Around La Ville, New Orleans, the land is so low and wet that the dead have to be buried above ground in a vault. Folks don't bury their dead in a grave in the ground. If the river were to overflow the levee, or a hurricane to flood the land, your loved one may just float back up from the grave and pay you a return visit. Down the river, a little ways from La Ville, there once lived an old man with his only child, a jolly Phil, called Therese. Her mam had died, and Therese was left in the care of her papa, a greedy, miserly man who worked his girl like a mule and dressed her in rags. Though she was of marrying age, he would not allow any young man to court her. She saw no one except her mean old pa. All he ever cared for were gold coins, and he kept hidden under a loose board in the floor beneath his bed. Every night he'd locked the door, and by the light of a flickering candle, he'd count his gold coins. He loved the way they clinked and glowed and weighed so heavy in his hands. But poor Therese, she was so lonesome. Every night she'd come knocking on his door. Knock, knock. Her papa would yell out, "Who's there?" "Papa, c'est moi," she'd say. "It's me, Therese. Papa, let me in. Talk with me. I am so lonely." But her papa would only holler back at her, "Girl, get out of here and get back to work. You only want to get your hands on me gold, and that be over my dead body." And so it went until one night. Knock, knock. "Who's there?" "Papa, it's me, Therese. Me, I'm sick, sick," she moans. "Papa, let me in." But he just yells back, "You lazy good-for-nothing. Get out of here. You're not sick. You just want to get your hands on my money, and that be over my dead body." And again, Therese returned to her father's door. Knock, knock. "Who's there?" "Papa, c'est moi. Papa, let me in. I'm bad sick. I need the healer. Please, Papa, send for Tatri." Knock, knock. "Who's there?" "Papa, please help me. The pain is worse. Oh, Papa, Papa, open the door." But her papa's heart was as cold as his golden coins. At last the girl's cries faded to silence, and she knocked no more. The old man was full of curiosity, and so he opened the door. There, lying lifeless on the porch floor, was jolly Therese. The old man was too stingy to buy a vault for his daughter. Instead, he laid Therese in a crude wooden coffin and buried her in a shallow, swampy grave down by the cypress tree. The neighbors all shook their heads. They warned there would be trouble. They could, and how could poor Therese rest in peace in such a grave? 3 weeks went by, and a storm began to coil up out over the Gulf. The winds churned, and rain fell like needles as the hurricane passed over the land. Night found the old man sitting in his room counting his gold coins by flickering candlelight. Outside, the wind howled and blew sheets of rain against the house. The old man did not know that the river had already spilled over the levee and sent its dark water across the land. He sat in his rocking chair, his lap full of gold, rocking and counting, 1, 2, 3. Something thumped against his porch with hollow wooden clatter. Knock, knock, knock sounded at his door. "Who's there?" he hollers. Only a great sigh like the wind answered. Just a loose shutter banging, he thinks, and he went on counting gold. 1, 2, 3. Knock, knock, knock pounded at his door, stronger this time. "Who's there?" Only a whining wind answered him. Just that good-for-nothing hound dog trying to get in, he thinks again. And again he returned to his gold and coins. 1, 2, 3. Knock, knock, knock. 3 great booming knocks hammered at his door. "Who's there?" Only a low, sad moan. A cold shiver ran down the old man's back. "Storms got you all jumpy," he says to himself. "It's just the wind blowing that old live oak tree, scraping its branches against the house." But the moaning rose and rose above the wailing wind until it became a horrifying scream. "Papa, c'est moi, Therese. Let me in. It's Therese." Knock, knock, knock. "Papa, let me in." Knock, knock, knock. "Papa, let me in." As the eye of the storm passed over the house, a blood-curdling shriek pierced the deadly calm. 3 days passed and the water receded. Neighbors came by to look in on the old man. They rode onto his land, and as they passed by the cypress tree, they saw that the flood had washed away the dirt from Therese's grave, and it was empty. They knocked at the back door, but no voice answered. Fearing some harm had befallen the old man, they went inside. They found him sitting like stone in his rocking chair, cold as marble, his hair gone snow white. A silent scream was frozen on his face, and his eyes bulged in glassy terror. Across the room, the door hung limp from one hinge, and though some monstrous fist had pounded it down, before it lay a battered, spindled and splintered coffin, and inside the gruesome corpse of Therese. Her weathered hands clutched her papa's golden coins, and a ghastly smile lay fixed upon her decaying lips. With the money, the neighbors bought to Therese's a whitewashed vault, and gave her a proper above-ground burial. There was not enough money to buy the old man a vault, so they buried him in a pine coffin down by the cypress tree. Since that time, whenever the river threatens to flood the land, the old man's troublesome spirit rises to warn that all the dangers is at hand. Folks know he's paid them a visit when they hear someone knock, knock, knocking at their door, but nobody is ever there. Well, I guess that's why down in New Orleans you bury them in vaults instead of underground. You don't want them coming back to get you. But anyway, I think you guys hopefully were able to like, share, and subscribe this. Hopefully you guys were sitting next to a warm fire or cuddled up with someone so it didn't quite scare you too badly. But tune in next time, and we'll have another scary story for you. For this is Halloween, one of my favorite times of year, and just maybe a little spooky and blessed day.